This week on Waxing the Porpoise, G-Baby and the Usual Suspect Steve flashback to Jennifer 8 from 1992, a slow-burning crime thriller starring Andy Garcia, Uma Thurman, and a surprise John Malkovich appearance. Join us as we trigger Steve's paranoia about an old Carpenter song that we're destined to get to the bottom of, hear arguments for Uma Thurman's character faking her blindness in the film, and of course get derailed on multiple accounts of 90s movie nostalgia and somehow manage to tie all things back to Twister and Bill Hipp's Paxton. None of you have ever seen an F5?
Hack the play!
Let's wax this shark-eyed porpoise.
Chase, don't do that.
You see, we working on his brow chakra. We're just in back of the crown chakra.
With that thing, and you get better results than that. And it's weird because then it makes you.
Weird.
It can be slippery because then it makes you, well, why can't I just do anything with my mind? And if I just think about it hard enough, but I think it's more of like the blind aspect and the trickeration that's happening versus like, I really want to believe.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's weird that like there's some kind of chemistry or something that your brain can actually take from that and do something with it, like.
Wouldn't it be so weird if they did one of those tests with the placebo thing and they had everybody hooked up to like a CAT scan or whatever the probes on the head thing is, and then they could isolate which little parts of the brain are firing with the people who are actually having the placebo effect, and then hook somebody up to those electrodes and like try to stimulate that same area and then suggest something. Like, you would think that you would be able to recreate that in somebody else. Like, oh yeah, it's this part of the medulla oblongata. Mama says
maybe though
alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
That's like the perfect like dumb funny movie for 10 to 14-year-old.
Oh god, I watched that movie so much in my early teens.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck,
yeah, I remember seeing it in theaters and having a fucking ball. But then there's weird stuff I saw when I was young too. Like I saw Grumpy Old Men 2, just the sequel, not the first one first. And I saw that pretty young, and I got a real big kick out of it. That's when I was like I feel like I was a fan of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in their later years when I was younger.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like you don't.
Dude.
That's not a movie like, oh, did you watch Grumpy Old Men? When you're in 5th grade or whatever.
I have the same exact thing, but it's with The Odd Couple Part 2. I don't think I ever saw the first one, but I caught.
Oh, so you're talking about the remake movie that they made years and years later
with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. And I don't know why I caught it at like my grandma's house when she had movie channels, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna watch this over and over now.
Dude, that's a weird. Speaking of like The Odd Couple specifically, like a show like from 30 years ago, and then they make a sequel to a show in movie form, but then do it 30 years later or something, 25 years later. It's kind of a unique. I can't think of another.
Was there? I just assumed that the remake I saw was a sequel of a new remake. Was there not a? I guess I can. Yeah, fuck it. I'm going.
I'd say I could have it backwards. Then you might be right. I could have sworn that The Odd Couple was a show.
So it looks like this is.
Or maybe it was just a movie, and I'm fucking that part up.
Yeah, it says it's a film from '68.
Oh, okay.
But I wonder if they turned it into a TV show at some point too, and then.
I think I might be confusing it for like MASH, because MASH is one where they made the movie first, way back in the day, and then they followed it up with a show. But
there's an audience review for The Odd Couple that has like 4 stars, warning, 4 stars. There are a couple of unsuccessful suicide attempts mentioned early in the film. They're played in a humorous manner, but are still attempts. So if you're sensitive to this subject matter, blah blah, it's a fucking comedy movie. Fuck off.
I guess before we get too far ahead of ourselves too, welcome back again to Waxing the Porpoise. We're here on episode 44 now, I believe. Is it 44?
Yeah. That sounds right, yeah.
All right, we're gonna go with it. 44. Reviewing a rare gem from 1992 called Jennifer 8, starring Andy Garcia, Uma Thurman, and Lance Henriksen, among others. Yeah, we're just kind of freeballing it this episode, trying something a little bit different to get the juices flowing. But yeah, I don't think I ever watched The Odd Couple. I like the sequel, the one you're familiar with.
Yeah.
I remember always just like that came after Grumpy Old Men, and I think I was like, yeah, because I liked. There's another one. What the fuck is it called? Out to Sea.
Yeah.
Another Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, same kind of setup.
There's like a political one too, right? I can't remember.
Yeah,
which
but
one.
that's not Walter
What is
Matthau's
that?
not in that. It's very good. I love it. It's called My Fellow Americans.
Okay, yeah.
It's with James Garner and Jack Lemmon, and that one of my favorite lines that I haven't quoted in a long time, but I used to a lot was James Garner was like the former president. So him and Jack Lemmon were both former presidents. They get entangled somehow. They're in cahoots because there's some weird presidential conspiracy thing going on with like Dan Aykroyd, who's the incoming president. And anyway, it becomes like a buddy cop movie, like Cross Country, Jack Lemmon and James Garner together. They hate each other, but James Garner plays like the fucking love Lothario, kind of like the player, the ladies' man type dude, like a JFK picture. Whereas Jack Lemmon's more straight laced. But what does he do? I think he takes his swag off of Jack Lemmon's water bottle, and he's like, Jesus, don't do that. He's like, I'm not sharing with you. He's like, you could spit in a petri dish and start a whole new civilization.
Dude, it's such a funny coincidence that this came up, and I hadn't thought about it before, because I remember seeing that movie when I was a kid, probably 96 or 97. Actually, it would have been 97 or 98 because of where I was living. And I only saw it once. The only thing I remember about that movie is them joking about replacing the lyrics to that Hail to the Chief song. Like they each had their own like spoof
they had their
version. Yep. And the day I saw that movie was the first and only time I ever visited Eureka, California, where this movie, Jennifer 8, takes place. How weird is that?
Synchronicity, brother.
Total mind blow.
I'll be waiting for those sausages. Cool. Yeah, that is a fun quinky dink that leads us right in, I guess. So you've got myself at the helm tonight, Jim G. Baby.
I'm sure the word you were looking for was symbolism. What is the symbolism there?
Yeah, dude.
I thought you'd like that.
Oh, that cracked me up. What's the symbology there? What were you going to do with the other two? Laugh them all to death? Funny, man. Dude, that movie.
Symbology?
Yeah. Hallelujah, Jafar.
Damn, I keep saying I need to flash back to that big time. And then to my virtual right, of course, we have the usual suspect, Steve.
Unrealized idea. Unrealized.
It's a corporate kiss butt, dude.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yep. That dude, Sean Whalen, do you remember him from the Got Milk commercial with Aaron Burr?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Aaron Burr. Dude, I don't know why that commercial, there's a handful of commercials from that era that are scalded, like branded on the side of my fucking brain. And I'll just think it's kind of like that echolalia, but I won't say it out loud. I'll think it once every 3 weeks.
I could still sing you the entire Double Mint Gum twin commercial that they had from that same time frame, 1998. Haven't seen it in probably 24 years, 25 years. Still remember every word.
Was that the statement of a great mint?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Of
that's
Double Mint Gum? Okay.
I'm not going to do it. You're not going to bait me into doing it.
Dude, one thing that I want to do that I'll write it down and I never get to it, but I remember one time you offhandedly made a comment about the Carpenters.
Do not. Yep. God damn it. I knew you were going to bring this up.
The Carpenters were playing, and it was a banger. I can't remember what song it was, and we were like talking about them specific, and you said all smug, like, there's a Carpenter song. I don't know for what reason or why, but I just fucking love it. It's like
No.
one of my.
No,
what is it?
You're half remembering correctly. What you were probably seeing was trauma in my face, because what I was saying was I literally had a Carpenter song stuck in my head for
that you hated.
Yeah, for like
it was just
10
stuck in your
plus
head.
years. That like if you know somebody who occasionally just whistles like the same tune, it was stuck in my head. And you started like guessing other Carpenter songs. And I'm like, please don't do this. I don't want to talk about it. I fucking hate this song. But it just was always stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I want to try to, I think of like a segment, or like maybe just try a new Carpenter song, or try to slip it in, like not even address it and just play it in the background, and then just focus for facial cues to see if it like
if I go shark
blood
eyed
vessel. Yeah, you get shark eyes. Black like a doll's eyes. That's a good line from Jaws, where he talks about the shark being like a soulless fucking like demon killer. He's like, it's got black eyes, dead, like black like a doll's eyes.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I'm almost positive I haven't.
Dude, it's Spielberg. We should watch. It's an awesome summertime movie. That would be. I just flashed back to it. Like that's one I had only seen like twice. I saw it when I was a kid, and it did scare me. Like, about going in the ocean and like thinking about a fucking shark coming to get you. But I just flashed back to it this past summer, and it was super fun. In the same vein of like an E.T., like it's just well-rounded.
Never seen that either.
It's a good film. Yeah, we need to change that too, man. E.T. is a fucking banger.
I don't know if I told you I did watch Nightcrawler the other day, and I liked it quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I think the last episode you said you were going to, you didn't get a chance to, but so you did, and you enjoyed it?
I did quite a bit. Bill Paxton.
Kind of an odd film.
It is. Bill Paxton, always a pro. It went a different direction than I was expecting. I thought, without getting into like a full review of the movie, what I thought was going to happen was he was going to become like a serial killer and just start covering his own shit. But then it was a little more demented than that. And I really just wish there's kind of that Usual Suspects moment at the end where everything's kind of wrapping up and he's walking out of the police station, where it's like, oh fuck, is he going to get away with everything? I was really hoping Bill Paxton would show up and just fucking dome him in the back of the head, and that would be how it ended. Yeah. But alas, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I was me and my wife both were kind of thinking one way, and then when it kind of swerved and it was like, this actually is like more like Disturbed, that he just like the level of exploitation and like how he looked like he got high from it. He's got some like bug eyes pretty much that whole fucking movie, dude. But
I love the dialogue in it though. Like in the beginning where he's trying to convince the guy at the scrapyard to give him a job.
Right. Like, he's all mousy, and then he comes into his own.
Yeah. And then he starts manipulating that lady. I'm glad they didn't go into that too much more, where he's like, and when you're in my apartment, you will do what I ask you without. I'm like, please don't show this weird coercive relationship that they have. That was weird, but
yeah. Rene Russo's got to be like 40 years older than him, or at least like 30.
Yeah.
Right on. Oh, I just thought of another thing too. I saw the old Mentos commercials. I saw someone took a clip of, they edited very cleverly snippets from Bloodsport, I believe it was, with Jean-Claude Van Damme, alongside with like a Mentos banner down the bottom and with the jingle and him doing shit. And like they totally edited it and framed it like you could have put it on TV. Like even like turns back and gives a shit-eating grin and like a thumbs up, and it's like, Mentos fresh and full of life. Like everything was perfect. Like kind of like how have you seen that the Mary Poppins, and they make it look like a horror film? It's like Scary Mary or Scary Poppins.
No, but I've seen the Mrs. Doubtfire one, and
Doubtfire
it is so fucking good. The amount of talent that some people have is just, it's incredible. Like you see that and it's like, how would you even think of that? And then the way they cut it together is just, I don't know. It's astonishing is the only word I can think of to describe it.
There's another really good one. It's What If Home Alone. was a horror film. I'll have to share that one with you if you.
Okay.
It's pretty old. You may have seen it. It's like 12 years old, but they did that one. It's very similar to the quality level of the Doubtfire one. Like you really buy the South Bend Shovel Slayer as being
you know what?
a murderer.
I have seen that.
That one's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you were the one that sent it to me. The salt turns the bodies into mummies.
Mummies. Dude, we during the holidays, like Veda's like 6 now, so we're like home alone for like 2 weeks straight when the holidays come around.
That's your daughter, for those who don't have their decoder ring handy.
Yeah. And the part that creeps her out is the beginning, the fucking theme song for the Home Alone, the dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
she hates that part of it. So she'll like run and hide and then come back when it gets started, you know, like, so I'll go around and follow her and I'll be like around a corner, I'll be like, dun, 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 dun. She'll be like, stop it. Stop saying that. Excuse me.
That's going to come up in therapy.
Yeah.
Why don't you just chase me around the house?
Yeah. My father's echolalia. Such a fun word. All right. So yeah, we're gathered to discuss one of my this is probably a guilty pleasure. I know it's not like the greatest film of all time, but it's definitely a guilty pleasure. It's one that I saw rather young, I guess, for this kind of material. But to me, this is like a perfect. It makes me want to smoke cigarettes really badly. I forgot how bad, like for the first 30 minutes of the film, but it's like a really good lazy, rainy afternoon kind of whodunit, where you don't have to like, you can just relax and enjoy it, or like a lazy Dog Days of Summer afternoon kind of flick. I think is the best atmosphere for taking this one in. But have you heard about this? I imagine not. This one's pretty obscure.
Nope, not even a blip on my radar at all.
How are you? I don't know if I've asked you point blank. Are you a Andy Garcia man or no? Are you indifferent?
Yeah, kind of just agnostic. I can't think of a ton of stuff I've seen him in. I don't really dislike him at all. So yeah.
Okay. That's the other thing. I'm a pretty big Andy Garcia fan as well, so that bodes well for you if you have never seen this and you go into it and you're like, oh shit, Andy Garcia. Yeah. I like Uma Thurman too. I think she's a great actress.
I do too, actually.
She's been in a lot of stuff. I think she's great in everything. Gattaca she was in.
Yeah.
Who else is in?
I mean,
Lance
just being
Henriksen.
I'm a big Tarantino fan, so yeah, like the Kill Bills, Pulp Fiction. I think she's great in those. And
yeah, totally. What about the other main, Lance Henriksen? Do you recognize him from anything other than Aliens? He played Bishop.
Haven't seen Aliens still.
God, I keep
I don't.
that.
I didn't recognize him from anything.
Okay, yeah, his main ones are Bishop from Aliens, the sequel with James Cameron, and there's a kind of a cult horror film from like the mid or late 80s called Pumpkinhead, where he plays Ed Harley, and he's kind of like an anti-hero. It's like a revenge horror where he takes on like a totem of like this Pumpkinhead demon thing to exact revenge. It's pretty ham-fisted, but
sounds like
it's gory. It's fun, like 80s schlock revenge horror. But that's one of his claims to fame too. But for the most part, he's kind of just like a side, like a character actor. He was in, you know him from Near Dark. He was the main dude, Jesse.
Okay, yeah.
He sounds like he gargles when he's brushing his teeth with like gravel. He's just got a real hoarse ass voice.
I would have to push back a little on that because any movie Bill Paxton is in, Bill Paxton is the main guy. So,
well, I meant Jesse, this guy, he's in their rabble, in their
he's the senior.
Yeah, he's the elder
dude.
Vampiric statesman.
Yeah, I definitely didn't recognize him from that, but
yeah, I like him a lot. He's good. You should watch. because you said you just watched Predator recently, the first one for the first time, didn't you?
No.
I could have sworn. Maybe I'm lumping it in because you said you just watched Running Man for the first time with Arnold.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not good.
Yeah, Predator is way better than that. But I was gonna say, if you can make the leap if you enjoy the first Predator, I think chances are you would like Aliens a lot too.
Okay.
Have you never seen the first Alien with Ridley Scott and Sigourney Weaver? Damn, those are two that are kind of different in that Alien, the first one, it's much more like it's like a survival horror in space, and 2, James Cameron takes over, and it's night and day. It's kind of the difference between the first Terminator and Terminator 2. You know, there's a different sheen on things.
I thought you were going to say the difference between First Blood and Rambo.
No, not that on the nose, but excuse me.
I did recognize the guy who played Sergeant Taylor as the I think it's the same guy, one of the bosses in Blue Streak, which is another one of those movies that I've seen like 100,000 times, but
I didn't want to leave it with Shamu over there.
I mean, that's like leaving candy around me.
What's he say? I'll just
chop it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, I remember watching that in the theater when I was pretty young when it came out. I think it was like 15 in the beginning when he's getting all of his shit back. Like, they're like, one pocket watch this.
One shoelace.
Like, yeah. What y'all doing with one shoelace?
Floss your ass.
Oh, man. Blue Streak. Highly underrated. I just found out my wife's never seen it, and I was like, God damn you.
Dude, it's so good.
Another good one, Martin Lawrence, that's kind of similar to that. Similar era with Tim Robbins.
Yep. Yeah, Nothing to Lose.
Nothing to Lose, yeah.
Dude, I love when they're arguing about which one is more intimidating to the store clerk. Yeah. And so they like go in and ask him, and they're like, I can't remember exactly what the dialogue, but he's like, I think Tim Robbins is asking him, like, was he scary? What was scary about that? And the old man's just like, oh, the freeze motherfucker part.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I love that part so much.
Yeah. That was like a weird one. I happened to catch, and it sucked me in, and it's a good one. It's got an excellent scene of that Scatman song being used to perfection with the tarantula in a guy's pants, and he's doing the fucking Scatman trying to get it out. Oh man. Okay. So
I think my favorite performance in this movie by far, and I saw his name in the credits, but then completely forgot about it. But then when Malkovich comes in,
yes,
I feel like that just tipped it over from, because I kind of am of the same mind as you are, where you always used to call those movies popcorn movies, but I think of it as like a Pop-Tart movie. Like, it's food technically, but it's not really nutritious at all, but it's fun and you like it. Yeah. But he pushed it over the edge from like, this movie's okay and it's fine, to, I don't know. I just love John Malkovich. He's such a fucking badass.
So yeah, I guess to answer the question, if you liked the film, did this push it over into like more of a hard like with his addition, or just a solid? Yeah.
Solid like. I'd say I liked it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was good. I liked the setting, because without knowing anything about the movie, when he's first driving in that opening scene, I was like, that looks a lot like the North Coast of California.
Redwood territory.
And then it reveals it's in Eureka, and then the location of the Institute. I think it said it was near Mount Shasta or somewhere over there. And I mean, those are both
2 hours there doesn't jive really. I don't think, but
not quite.
They did what they could.
Yeah, it's funny. The another slight coincidence that part of Lake Shasta, or that part of far Northern California, because I think a lot of people think of Northern California, if you're in LA, it's like Bakersfield's Northern California, or some people think it's like San Francisco, which is like on the 50-yard line of the state. But really, this area of California is like the 95-yard, it's on the opponent's 5-yard line.
Right.
I was talking to a guy the other day who was a firefighter up in that area, and they have so many clandestine weed growing operations that when they were up, he worked for the fire department. I don't know if I said that already. And there was a fire going on, so they were cutting lines with bulldozers up there.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that they had to send a cop out with every firefighter basically for 2 reasons. One, if they happen to come across somebody's grow operation, they might get killed.
Mm-hmm.
And so the cops were there to protect them. And also he said that just by cutting these lines, they dug up a shit ton of bodies that had been buried out there. So then the cop would be there to like, all right, fuck, now we got to like collect it. And because it's not just small grow operations up there. It's kind of, I can't remember which, he said like Russian mob. Anyway,
There's Mexican cartels. That's been well known for a long time too. But yeah, that's crazy. They have like Russian ties coming in that far.
I think he said Chinese mob too, or maybe Japanese. But yeah, so that was a fun little connection to the local area as well. And initially, my first thought was like, what kind of lame fucking serial killer just goes after blind people? It seems like just too easy, you know? So as the story develops and you kind of discover why, that was better in my mind. Like, okay, it's a personal thing. It's not just like, I'm picking off people who can't see the shit coming.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just not just going for like the lowest hanging fruit or trying to be like unique and gimmicky. It's like it's because it had a personal thing going on with him specifically. But
I'm such an idiot that even up until the last minute of the movie, I kept thinking like, Uma Thurman's not blind. She's not blind. You know, for some reason, I just got that stuck in my head.
Like what would be like the narrative reason for them to
see what's
like,
going on here? Like, she's not blind. She's a gold bricker. This chick sees. Yeah. I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
Dude, it's kind of like at the end of the Have you ever seen The Faculty?
I don't think so.
Oh, fuck. Well, I don't want to spoil the film, so I can't use that example. I feel like that was one that, because that was probably right when you were like a freshman.
I might have seen that.
Maybe in 8th grade. That was like a fun horror like take on like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Is that Josh Hartnett?
It's a pretty fun flick. What's that?
Is that Josh Hartnett in that, or
Josh Hartnett, Clea Duvall, Elijah Wood, Robert Patrick, the dude who plays the T-1000 in Terminator 2, is like one of the bad guys.
Is that the one that
Shooter McGavin plays Elijah Wood's dad in that film, and he has a fucking really funny, awesome scene.
Is that the one I remember? It was either in the soundtrack or the commercial for it. It had that really annoying Harvey Danger song. Is that who it was?
No, Flagpole Sitta.
Yes.
I think that was tied to Disturbing Behavior with James Marsden and Katie Holmes, Nick Stahl, which is a fucking fun movie.
This is the scrambled brain reminiscent of my weird like insomnia.
Paranoia.
Yeah. Got to follow the breadcrumbs to figure out what the fuck I'm actually thinking about. So I know I usually like to save it for the end, my favorite cunty review of the movie, but I figured I would just throw it out now.
Yeah.
Because it made me laugh. And I'm wondering if you can decipher from this guy's very short review what his actual beef with the movie is. So this is a gentleman named Fred Topel, a critically acclaimed author from About.com. This review is from 2003. Now, see if you can decode where his ire comes from. It's 3 sentences. Below average mystery. Slow and uninvolving. Thurman nude scene is body double.
God.
Like, what a goober. Who would write that? Like, just so you know, this movie sucks, and also it's not her that's naked, so
yeah.
I'm out. Strike 3.
That's the entire review?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Thurman nude scene's a double.
I read that in the IMDb trivia. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But this guy really took it personal. Like, how the fuck would you know? You wouldn't know that unless you went and sought it out. And then so he read something somewhere, and that ruins it now.
Yeah. I was on the fence before, but
yeah, thinking about a 3-second scene.
Yeah. Even during that scene, when it was over, I was like, she might still be blind. And just really really committing to the lie. I don't know why.
It's called The Long
The Long
Con.
Con, yeah. I could never be blind. Man, it's got to be so tough.
Yeah. I've always thought about, like, if you could trade senses, like that game,
Yeah.
like which one or you had to lose one, which one would you fucking lose? I'd probably go taste first, gut reaction, but if I think about it more, it might be smell. But that one's kind of a trick question because
Those
I know
two are
smell
linked.
and
Yeah.
so you're kind of you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I think to me those are the least impactful, given like touch, pretty fucking important.
Yeah.
Sight and hearing,
Yeah.
like you've given up sight just on its own, but you can't watch anything cool. Hearing, you can't listen to fucking music. Kill me now. And yeah, touch. So yeah, to me, like taste and smell hit the bricks.
Yeah, you could even make the argument that it would cause you to eat
Lose
healthier
weight.
and
Yeah.
like
All it took was losing this vital key sense.
imagine trying to go in and convincing a doctor for an elective surgery like, I want you to remove my whole scent and taste functions, please.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting robot legs.
Adios, turd nuggets. Yeah, you just go and be like, I want to take my taste off. Yeah. Well, fuck that review. That's horseshit. This movie's great.
I just imagine that guy is creepy as shit.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of guy that like makes human hair carpets or turns you into a lampshade.
There's also a funny old Pete Holmes. He's a comedian. He's got this bit about magic. He's like, it's the only form of entertainment where there's a type of person who's trying to ruin it for themselves, like trying to see what the trick is. And it's the guy who's just sitting there like, it's a mirror. He's just using a mirror. Like, why are you doing this, guy? Why are you trying to ruin this for everybody?
Right? Because that's the thing. That's the juice for that person.
It's a mirror.
Is ruining it, seeing the misery of others. I guess real quickly to run down this movie. Basically, it's Andy Garcia is our main guy. He's like an exiled, it seems like, or maybe he just wanted to get away from the big city rat race in L.A. And it sets it up as he's former pals or just really good family friends with Lance Henriksen's character, who's like a sergeant or lead detective up in Eureka. So he's now he's like big fish in a small pond situation. Kind of seems like he's maybe going back with his tail between his legs because he's like this kind of hot shot. But I don't think he overplays the hot shot aspect, but that he's just like, big city detective coming into this coastal kind of rural-ish backwoods milieu.
Yeah, I think they assign him the big shot city boy thing more than he comes in there like swinging his shit around.
Right.
And I got the feeling it was because of his marriage that he went up there like, fuck it, I'm just getting away from all this.
Yeah, they kind of sprinkle that throughout. They don't lean on it, whether that's good or bad. One could argue, but I'm pretty indifferent to it. But there's one barb that really takes it home is at the end when Malkovich is like really trying to get under his skin. And he's like, and your wife who was fucking everyone knew about it. Like, I was like, dude, we got it, man. So yeah, that's really when you're like, oh, okay. So that's the source of his like wanting to get the hell out of Dodge. And they make like an argument too. I think the wife of Lance Henriksen is like she looks just like her, like he very quickly after meeting like Uma Thurman's character, they kind of shack up or they become pretty simpatico pretty quickly. So he's just trying to like rebound or like fill that gap. But I think that's one thing I don't really buy is their relationship,
their chemistry. It did not. I didn't see it. Like that first time they like start making out, I was like, this. I feel like this lacks the foundation. Like how did we get here?
Yeah, there's no spark there. There's no inciting incident to where you can be like, oh yeah, these guys are hot and heavy, or like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can buy going through like maybe a traumatic set piece of something, and like they get close, and I could maybe buy that a little bit more. But yeah, they don't have very much chemistry, so
Well, in
it's
some of
kind of it's
their like smooching scenes later on, they come where it's like, are they about to fight? Are they going to break up? Is she crying? Like, oh no, they're kissing now. This is kind of strange, but yeah, I thought the exact same thing. Like, I'm not really buying these two, but
yeah, it felt kind of like a puppy love kind of situation, but it was weird because he says, and he looks noticeably a little bit older. He says he's like 37, Andy Garcia, and I don't think they come out and say how old Uma Thurman, but I was taking her for somewhere because she was like a former student, and then now she teaches music at this school for the blind, these blind girls. So I took her being around maybe like 25
yeah, I could see that.
ish.
Like
So
recently graduated from college.
yeah. So them having this kind of like puppy love feel kind of felt a little creepy because he's like at least 10 years older, maybe 15 than her. So
Yeah, and
that's probably one of my only gripes, other than this movie is pretty slow in parts. But that's why I think if you're in the right frame of mind, like a lazy fucking afternoon, like you just want to turn your brain off or not, or just watch something and not have to like invest a lot of yourself in it, and you're just posted like a note.
good
Then those kind of scenes are
rainy day
welcoming.
movie for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the proper setting for this one, I think. But
Maybe that's why part of me was thinking she was faking the blind thing because it just didn't seem like a real, genuine attraction between the two. Like maybe I thought subconsciously she was honeypotting him to then kill him or something. And
they
the guy
just
who
do an
plays
additional twist.
yeah, the
This movie kind of reminds me of Basic Instinct
I've never
with
seen it.
Michael
She was
Douglas.
no Sharon Stone.
Yeah, Michael Douglas, Sharon Stone. Newman has a bit role in there. Wayne Knight.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it kind of has vibes of that. Although I will say, Basic Instinct is quite a bit better
yeah.
than this,
Okay.
and it's like peak Sharon Stone and peak Michael Douglas is fucking badass in it. He kind of plays. There's like a spate of films from like the early, like late '80s through the mid to late '90s where he plays basically the same character as Black Rain, like a kind of a grizzled like detective type dude that kind of he plays on both sides a little. He straddles the fence of corrupt and hero cop, like the same. I think there's a movie where he's like a district attorney or he's an attorney. He kind of plays in both of those worlds. And then one he's another cop in Basic Instinct for the San Francisco PD. That one's cool because it's shot on location and there's a lot of like stuff that sticks out, like Coit Tower and
Mm.
like downtown San Francisco. They go through like Chinatown. So yeah, that's a fun.
I like it
But,
falling down a lot. It's a good one.
yep.
Classic.
Yeah, that's where he like kind of derails and becomes the full on psychopath cop. It was just like, all right, fuck you very much. That's one of my favorite lines from that one. So this one, I liked the amount of rain. Felt pretty like it felt real. Like they weren't using like rain machines and shit on some films, like in Blade Runner,
Yeah.
where that was all artificial. This one, it's like I feel like the environment, the geography of this one's pretty cool. And so I guess getting to the meat and potatoes of this movie is it's a whodunit, and it's related to a string of blind girls who I think they're up to like the special files called Jennifer, and they're calling it Jennifer. The name of the movie would be if Uma Thurman would have been killed in this killer's plot or whatever, she would have been the eighth one that all fit this particular profile or MO of the serial killer. And so we follow Andy Garcia's character kind of like dipping into stuff that this police department wanted to go away because they already it's a cold case now. They had tried to figure out who this person was killing, like dismembering blind girls and leaving him for dead. And he said they spent like $500,000, brought in a bunch of different cops, and they were never able to solve it. So Andy Garcia comes in. There's a murder, and they find a hand from years previous. And so that's like the inciting moment. He notices like some scars on the fingertips. He somehow comes to understand that this woman was blind, right? Isn't that he finds like the particular scars on her fingertips from reading Braille?
Yeah, which I thought was quite a leap.
Yeah, it's like that. Is that going to cause scarring on someone as young as 19? I think he said that victim was, or 18.
Well, I mean, it's Braille. It's not like she's running her hands over razor blades.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, and I also thought it was kind of funny once he starts putting them all together and he gets that transmission that's like all of these different missing blind women in a pretty, just in California. It's like, man, that really didn't raise any alarms that we have all of these missing blind women.
Well, to their credit, I think the one started down in his precinct. Like one was in LA, San Diego.
Right.
And there's a scene where they're printing out like a fax showing all the different victims. One was like Needles, which is like, isn't that like Death Valley? Needles, California?
I mean, I guess it's somewhere between San Diego and Eureka, but
then they start kind of disjoining, like they're pretty far away. Cause I mean, then you end up in finding a piece of evidence, the hand in Eureka. So, I mean, to me, it didn't seem super clear, like, that with the distance involved, but I don't know, maybe that's just a bad take.
I don't know. I don't want to be too overly critical.
Yeah. I mean, it's not important to the story anyway, but, or to this discussion of the story anyway, but, so yeah, he just becomes like fixated on this case, and then it turns into like that trope of like, cop inserted, there's like something new that sparks interest, and like all the old dogs are like, yeah, forget about it, kid, we knocked on every door, we there's no physical evidence, there's no body. And then he's starting to pick up these clues and goes through that movie trope of like putting together all the pieces against all odds. And then like the police chief tell him like, you letting this one go, like you're off the case. And then he's like, but I'm on the case,
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie where the chief is like, you can't do this anymore, you're done, it's over. And then just immediately like, okay, I'm still on it. There isn't even like a 10-minute period where he's like, all right, fine, yeah, I'm gonna try to let this go. He just immediately goes back to her. Yeah,
like right back into the waiting arms of
like, got it. All right, hitting the road.
I've been through there. Little Rock's a fine town.
So yeah, around this time, we come to find out Uma Thurman's character, who plays a blind woman that teaches at this blind school that's like 2 hours away in the Sierra Nevadas, ostensibly, maybe Mount Shasta. It snows there. That's an important setting piece.
And she had sheet music when she was playing the cello. I'm still not convinced she's actually blind.
This is the fucking Stevie Wonder thing we got going here.
Dude, if anybody hasn't heard that conspiracy theory, he is not actually blind. Look it up. There's videos of him. I think the most famous one is where he's on stage and there's a mic.
Someone.
There's a mic next to him, or a mic stand, I guess, that starts to fall over, and he just reaches over and grabs it midair. And there's also a really funny, there's also a funny story that Shaq told on one of those NBA primetime shows where he walks into an elevator and it's just Stevie Wonder sitting there, and he's like, "What's up, Shaq?"
Maybe Shaq's got a distinct
that's true
funk, or maybe he always wears fucking polo,
or he could feel the elevator drop 6 inches when he stepped in, like
sagged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super funny. Excuse me. So Andy Garcia, Uma Thurman, she's the last person to hear, obviously, because she can't see. Her roommate, or one of the students it's like a a dorm kind of situation, and they leave for the holidays and come back. She heard her and some dude that she thought was like maybe her boyfriend or like a family friend or something like that. So she knows how and what we come to find out later is this is the killer. She knows what he smells like. She comments that he smells like he's got cigarette smoke under his breath. And that she also notes that of importance later that he, the way he breathed, he seemed like he was out of breath. He had breathlessness, which is a key factor in the grilling of Malkovich later on. But basically, I guess the key turning point in this is, do you know I forget, how do they get like a tip that something's going on? And both he and Lance Henriksen, after a Christmas party, are like spurred to like suit up and go because they think the killer's going to be there. I can't remember.
So
I watched this 2 nights ago and I can't remember.
So same here. So I think what happened was Sergeant Taylor, in an effort to sabotage the investigation, released that news story about the witness to the paper.
Right. And so Uma Thurman's face and name and everything is front page paper news. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Andy Garcia thinks like, well, fuck, now this killer knows who she is, knows she's a witness. So he's going to come for her. So they were staking out her room. I think there might have been something in between those two.
No, that makes sense now because he just learned about it because they were all kind of drunk. It was after the Christmas party. Like he's got sweat around his collar and shit, and he sees the newspaper. And that's when he goes up and he like quote unquote assaults Sergeant Taylor.
Yeah.
Andy Garcia does. And I like the line where he's like, "You better be aware of me because I wish you ill."
Yeah.
That's such an Andy Garcia line, like the way he delivers it. And, but yeah, he's not on to this guy at this point. He just doesn't like him because he thinks he's just trying to fuck up his investigation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes sense. That's why, because then he learns that, and then immediately he goes back to his boy's house and like starts grabbing some of his guns and ammo, and then he's like, "You're not going up there alone." So they both go, and then this turns into a really weird the way it's shot and edited. That the two get crossed up, and so the killer is actually there also and kills Andy Garcia's partner, Lance Henriksen, who is, we come to find out later, is also John, which that's kind of a red herring when you're watching it the first time and you hear him and it's being recorded. He's like, "John, no, what are you doing?" And he fucking kills him. So John Berlin is Andy Garcia. John Taylor is the killer. So,
oh, dude, I'm so dumb. I didn't even make that connection.
You know what? I didn't the first couple times either. It wasn't until subsequent. I was like, that's why he recorded that. And that's why that's why he's saying John. He wasn't actually, Lance Henriksen didn't actually think that was Andy Garcia, or he didn't see him.
I bet you they did some trickery with the audio because when he's coming down the steps and he's like, "Freddie, it's me," it sounds like Andy Garcia.
Oh, yeah, so maybe they are trying to sell to you, and then maybe Lance Henriksen does think that it's John.
Or maybe
but
not.
It throws
maybe
you,
you're right.
the audience member, off because you forget that Sergeant Taylor's name is John also. You don't put that. They go through great lengths. I think they only call him John Taylor once at the very beginning, and then from subsequently, he's always Taylor or Sergeant Taylor.
Uh-huh.
So it's easy for that to like slip out of your mind. But yeah, I think that's the way. So Lance Henriksen goes out thinking that his boy fucking killed him. Maybe don't know because doesn't when he falls off the fire escape and there's light out, there's more light, and then he finishes him off. He like shoots him in the head another time. So maybe he saw him then. Maybe not. Anyway, his partner gets killed and he gets like fucking whacked in the head, unconscious. The killer absconds. So now it looks like our boy Andy Garcia killed his partner, who's like he's like family friends with. Like he's pretty fucked up by it. And so this killer went through the lengths of recording like the killing of Lance Henriksen. So, and that's like anonymously, I'm assuming delivered to the cops. So they bring in this hotshot dude, this is probably one of my favorite parts of this film is when they bring in John Malkovich for like 15 minutes of this movie, and he's like the internal affairs or like the prosecuting ranking person that's fucking grilling Andy Garcia over this, and he was like dead to rights. He's like, I got my guy, I'm gonna fucking grill him and I'm gonna prosecute the shit out of him. Their exchange is fucking awesome in this. There's two or three different interrogation scenes, and I really liked him a lot. What was your impression of Malkovich when you first saw him? Like, oh shit.
Yeah, I had forgotten that I saw his name in the credits, and yeah, of course my first thought is, once again, not to beat a dead horse, but all I kept thinking was, do not talk to this guy without a lawyer because you're only going to fuck yourself.
Right.
And I mean, he's clearly really good at his job. And yeah, he was great in it.
Yeah.
It's a corporate kiss butt, man.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Finally making do on those twister bumps, Chris. Hope you're happy.
I thought I was the one bitching about the lack of twister bumps.
Oh, you were?
I'm sure I have at some point.
Word. Yeah, I need to find that one where he goes on like that mini tirade, that you can't predict it, you can't explain it. That one.
When his wife is just sitting there getting rained on.
Yeah. Oh,
you gotta
honey,
move on. Has anyone seen an F5? One of us has.
The finger of God.
It's like super cheesy. He looks up to the second story where she is, like, one of us has.
Yeah. Dude, I always forget about that beginning scene in Twister. Fucking really sets the tone. I remember the first time I saw it in theaters, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. It always drives me nuts because it's like, your family is safe at the bottom of the steps. Why are you standing there trying to hold the door? Just go down.
Yeah. Dumb.
He deserved it.
So we're treated to a real, like a knockout, drag out interrogation scene, couple scenes involving John Malkovich and Andy Garcia. This is kind of an interesting decision. They kind of give away, or they point you to like the twist, like not right at the end, like, because you find out that the killer also has, like, what was it? Andy Garcia keeps commenting, like, I got up to the top of the stairs and, like, I was out of breath. And the cop, Malkovich, knows that, like, there was these pills found. I think they're called aminophylanine. It's asthma meds for breathlessness. So he has that, and he keeps kind of, like, fishing, and he's dropping it. He's like, is that when you complain of the breathlessness? And he uses that word specifically a few different times. And then later on, I think it's the last interrogation scene, he holds up the evidence of the pills that were discarded in, like, the ashtray of Andy Garcia's car. And when he holds that up, then he knows, he's like, oh, okay, the killer has asthma, and he takes this specific medication for it. So he's got a big clue pointing to who it is. And then so somehow he's able to ask this prosecutor, he's like, all right, I need more time. I need time to think about this. And then, do you remember, I can't remember what sets him off to go to this blind school in Oakland.
Yeah. Okay.
And the medication. That's part I'm fuzzy on still.
Yeah. So I also thought it was funny that they think this cop brutally murdered his partner for no reason. And he's trying to get him to plead a second-degree murder instead of first-degree. And he's like, I need time to think about it. And they're like, all right, go ahead. And he just leaves, drives away.
Like, what?
So if you remember earlier on, when Andy Garcia is going up to the Institute, he almost crashes into that blue van.
Right.
And then Uma Thurman makes a comment. And then he finds out later
on that it's a VW.
Yeah, because Uma Thurman makes a comment about the sound of the VW. Like, yeah, that's the sound of it. And so he breaks into it, and he finds the empty capsule in the blue van.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's in his ashtray. You would think, but he didn't. But he talks to the woman who says that she works for an antique place in Oakland. So he takes the capsule that's in his car, which they later find and attribute to him. So when he, like, imagine if you're arrested or suspected of murder, and the police let you go, and he just rips ass out of the parking lot.
Yeah, he peels the fuck out, and there's a cop, like, there's a black and white posted to his house. I was thinking that too. I was like, wouldn't you just be like, cool, like, yeah, I'm going up to the street to get a pack of cigs, you know? Like,
yeah.
But he's like,
yeah, I'm going to make it look like I'm going to fucking drive until I reach Mexico and not stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he goes to Oakland, and there's always the fun scene where he's looking at the like classifieds or the ads with the antique shops, and he's like dramatically checking off each one.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so he finds the van and trails her home, breaks into her house. All sorts of illegal searches and seizures going on in this movie. But
yeah, that wouldn't hold up in the court of law at all.
Well, and then he looks at that school photo, and it's a bunch of very, very sad-looking kids who aren't looking at the camera at all. And then there's just the one kid giving the death glare, who did look a lot like a younger version of Taylor.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I can buy that.
I could see that. Yeah, for sure.
He would connect that. But then, sure as shit, he like turns around, and that dude. So our that's the part that's because they reveal him to the audience. Like you see, like, oh, okay, it's this guy. It's Detective John Taylor, and he like fucking. So he intercepts and he hauls off Andy Garcia, and his story is he found him at his house, and he brought him in, like, what did he say, trying to escape or like packing a bag, like he was gonna.
Yeah, something like
cross
that.
State lines or something. So that's what. So then they lock him up, and then it makes it looks pretty bad for Andy Garcia, and he's like screaming. He's like, no. He's like, he took me in Oakland. He's like, I know. He's like, I figured it out. But at this point, it's like no one's gonna fucking listen to you. So he's in that there's that kind of trope, and so
I did kind of think at that moment, Malkovich looked a little receptive. He wasn't just like, you're full of shit.
That's fair.
He almost had a look on his face like, well, tell me about it. Probably because in his job, the more the other person talks, the more they fucking bury themselves. So if you can keep the other person talking, it's good for you no matter what they say, because you can take out all the bad things they say and you don't have to mention all the good things. So
yeah, that's true. Another I glossed over, but I think that scene when he's really trying to draw it out of Andy Garcia, John Malkovich is like, he's like, you had a lousy life with a lousy wife who was fucking everybody. He's like getting into his face like real close, and that's when Andy Garcia does this weird like. He like grabs him like he's gonna fucking kiss him like passionately, grabs him behind the ears and like the neck, like he just wants to like twist his fucking head off. That part was pretty intense too. I like that a lot.
Are you gonna lose your temper with me?
Come on, John.
Do you lose your temper a lot?
Yeah. To his credit, he does play it like very, except for a couple points where he's really trying to like get him like to instigate something. He plays it pretty neutral, He's like pretty even keeled, but I would say like almost worth the price of admission is sticking it out for that scene or those scenes with John Malkovich and what he adds to the film and the story overall.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Baseball.
How does he get? Oh yeah, so Margie, the wife of his best friend that he supposedly killed post bail. So then it kind of, it's like, I think they were like, all right, we got to wrap this thing up pretty quick here. And so now that Sergeant Taylor finds out that, or I don't know if he finds out that Garcia had posted bond, but either way, he's trying to, cut all the loose ends, and the last one being, Uma Thurman. So he goes back up to her.
Well, before then, he goes over to Margie's house and is like being really fucking creepy when Uma Thurman comes down the stairs. He just kind of like backs up.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't want to like get in her space or trigger something that she would know about him.
Yeah, so then Margie comes in and is like, whoa, what the fuck? And then there's a moment where Uma Thurman and him, he like helps her with her jacket or something, and he gets kind of close to her, and you could almost see, in hindsight looking back, you can see like a recognition on her face, like, oh, this is either, it could be the voice, or it could be because she had mentioned earlier that he used like a breath mint or a breathalyzer or something, which they later said that was an inhaler.
Right.
So there's like a flash of recognition in her face. I think because she recognized him by sight because she's not blind. But so then yeah, they leave, and that's when Taylor convinces the cop, or maybe this was before, because they had a cop watching her house, Maggie's house, Margie, whatever, for protection. He goes and talks to him and is like, "You're good. You don't need to be here anymore." And
yeah, that's right.
But then what happens subsequently is Uma goes back to the Institute, or so we think.
Right. So think knowing that all parties knowing that he's the creep now, they know that he's going to try to tie up all the loose ends, which is the last one is Uma Thurman. And then because he thinks that he's going to get Andy Garcia dead to rights, like he's got that case wrapped up to where he's going to take the fall for Lance Henriksen. So he's got them tied up, and I don't think he thinks that Margie, Lance's wife, knows or is onto the stuff, which is why I didn't see that coming either too. Like I genuinely bought, like the final chase scene, that's Uma Thurman, and they were just using her as bait, and that they were going to be posted around a corner. But nope, it turns out it's Lance Henriksen's wife, and she turns around and it catches this killer Taylor flat-footed, and she just fucking blasts his ass like, later. Yep, it's me. You've been had. So I liked the ending. I thought that was it wasn't like a huge swerve, but I didn't see it coming at all. And I think it wasn't a cheap effect. Like it felt kind of like revenge kind of satisfied that desire.
Well, yeah, because Marge believed Andy Garcia that he didn't kill her husband, right?
Like so this was like, and they plant that seed early on, like she's my like adopted big sister, right. And like the whole kind of like I bought their relationship.
Yeah, I did too.
As like a family friend, and like maybe it went deeper than that, and he's spent time with this family. So yeah, she was on it. Like I feel like the whole time she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna doubt you for a second, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and she's the one who posted his bail, so she obviously trusted him. So when she shows up as the decoy, it's not like this doesn't make any sense at all. This isn't what somebody would do. Like this makes perfect sense that she would switch places with somebody who seems like such an easy victim and then kind of lure him in. I will say that last shot where he's down, face down on the ground, and she shoots him in the back. I would not recommend doing that to anybody.
Why? Just for because it would fuck with your
because
self-defense. That.
Somebody who's face down on the ground and you shoot him in the back, kind of like we were talking about with the Houston taco shop. That person's really no longer a threat to you, and it's such a fine line between what's allowed and what's not. Just don't risk it,
Not
allowed? Not allowed? The fuck does that mean? That's just my PSA. If you're going to shoot somebody, don't get yourself convicted of murder.
Right. Although I will
needlessly.
Say, I think in this specific instance, that her being like a cop's wife and them knowing like this is the guy who did it, I think she probably could have squeezed off a couple other rounds and it would have been fine in this case. Like I don't think they would go after her.
Yeah, probably not.
But if this were real life and
yeah.
But anywho, I just saw, I wasn't even looking for it. I was like scrolling through some shit like YouTube shorts, and it showed that Gary Lashir or whoever the fuck the dude
Gary Ploush.
I saw that on the where he's in the phone bank, and he just he plays it so hard, like he's got the phone up to the ear all the way to where he turns and he drops it, gun out, like he's like right there, man. Like how he got off and the judge was like, I didn't see any like what there was to gain by putting this man in prison, so he got like 5 months of probation or whatever, kind of like one of those kind of passion things. But yeah, that was hardcore. Just like how he's just like so calm and just done.
Yeah.
Like he was all fucking business. Cool. So this is, we can put another one in the win corner. column for Steve-O here. Watching it again. I watched this a couple times because admittedly I passed out 3/4 of the way through my first watch on like Wednesday night. But I will say too, this is a nice one. It's kind of like a nice, like a security blanket. Like if you're looking for something to just throw on and you can pass out to, it can put you under its spell. But that was one of the things I was like, fuck, this movie is pretty slow in parts. Like it's 2 hours and 5 minutes. This could easily be an hour and a half, 40-minute movie for sure. So, yeah, that was the thing. I was like, I'm thinking the length might knock it down into the no column, but right on. Yeah, it's not going to win any awards or blow your ball sack off, but if you're an Andy Garcia fan, you enjoyed Rain, a neat little whodunit.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised because I looked it up on IMDb, and like every fucking movie on IMDb, it's a 7.2 to a 7.4 or whatever, like we've talked about before. But then I saw on Rotten Tomatoes, it was like 38.
Yeah, it's pretty, and Metacritic too, which is another like aggregator of reviews and scores. It's pretty low. It's I think it's like a 45 on there.
It's not
but
that bad.
It is interesting. It's a 6.3 on IMDb, and that's kind of interesting. Yeah, because that's a pretty good score for IMDb. I would say is 6 anywhere in the 6s. It's a pretty solid score because you usually see it corresponds across different sites. This one's kind of different in that it's got a relatively high score, given that it's scored in like 30s and 40s on other sites.
Yeah.
But then you look at too, like if you type it into Google and you look at like Google audience score, just like Joe Blows who rate it on Google, I think it's got like an 88% users liked grade on Google. I could have my foot in my mouth, so let me double check that. But
well, and it can always get
88% liked this movie of Google users, 6.3 on IMDb, 38% Rotten Tomatoes, 48% on Metacritic. So that's kind of strange.
Yeah, that's very weird.
I think a lot of people. Yeah.
I wonder how many of those ratings were at the time versus now.
Right.
Because at the time they might have been expecting more versus now, where I don't know. It's fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it bombed because it was released in theaters. It almost wasn't, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it bombed in theaters. Let me double check. It looks like it took in 11 million at the theater. Yeah, the budget was 20 million. The budget was 20 million. Yeah, budget was 20 million, and worldwide gross was 11.3. Wow. So this movie lost $9 million. Yeah, I wouldn't say this one's a cult or doesn't have a cult following, but you could group it in there with, there's a certain type of early to mid 90s movie like this. One's called Pacific Heights with where Michael Keaton plays a fucking creep, like landlord kind of person. Or no, he's not a landlord. He's like a squatter, but he's like a stalker also. And he terrorizes Melanie Griffith and Matthew Modine, who own this apartment complex. Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Rebecca De Mornay, we touched on when we were on for Identity with a Cut Above. What are some other ones? What do they suggest here? Internal Affairs with Richard Gere. Unlawful Entry with Ray Liotta, Kurt Russell. That's a good one too. Yeah, I think if you liked this too, you would probably like Copycat with Sigourney Weaver and Harry Connick Jr. That's a pretty fun one like this. And then if you're a Andy Garcia fan, he did a film, I think, following this one called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, that one of our former coworkers, Matt, fucking just loved the shit out of. And I finally watched it, and I actually did enjoy it. It's got a pretty funky cast. Christopher Lloyd's in it, who plays like a leper, like safecracker. Andy Garcia plays like they have like a former like burglary crew, and then it's like later on it's like the band getting back together for this one last heist against Christopher Walken, who plays crazy Christopher Walken, like drug cartel kind of kingpin type person, and they're trying to pull off like one last score, to like make things right.
I might have seen this. I don't.
It's a pretty.
I don't know. It sounds familiar.
Steve Buscemi's in it. Marshall Bell, the guy from Airheads, where he's like, one skid mark in 15 years of marriage. And she kicked me out on my ass. Yeah, that's a good one too. So if you're an Andy Garcia fan, check that one out as well. Yeah, I think that's all I got. There was a couple pieces of trivia. One, which we already addressed, with the negative review. The nude scenes were in fact a body double and not Uma Thurman. They originally wanted to get Al Pacino for Andy Garcia's role, which I felt like could have been almost interchangeable at that time. But
she had a great ass.
Yeah. Sit down, Ralph. Come in here, you ball my wife. You're not watching my fucking TV. I love that he fucking takes the TV and the cord and like wraps it up. Oh fuck. All right. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else we maybe glossed over? Things you liked, didn't like about Jennifer 8?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it pretty well.
Thoroughly. Did you and your old lady watch this one together, or was this a solo mission?
This was a solo. Usually what I've been doing lately is, because I don't want to know anything about it going in, so I'll tell her what we're watching, and she can watch a preview in a separate room, so I don't hear about it. And then she'll come back and say, yeah, I'd like to watch it, or no. She came back and was like, no, this is a you alone type of movie. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think my wife also falls in the camp that's like, it's boring, it's slow. Whatever. But then I'll watch, like a shitty Lifetime movie with you, and I'll like actually like try to invest in it and like get something out of it. I just watched one with her a couple years ago that was fucking hog wild with like, God, who was it? The guy who played John Boy from the Waltons. Can't remember his fucking name. He has like a mole on his face. He's a famous actor. That dude, and I think it was Brooke Shields in like a weird Lifetime style directed video movie, but it ends with like a fucking shootout, like pretty dope action shootout in like an office building with like this dude strapped up with like shotgun shell, like bolos, fucking like grenade launcher. It was pretty intense, but
damn.
Yeah, some of them go hard, man. I saw this one, dude. I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a story of like a battered woman and her staying in like a really shitty relationship. And there's a scene where he's fucking beating her, and he like beats her on the ground and full on jumps in the air and double foot stomps on her head. And they like show it. Like, I don't know how they filmed this. And I was like, dude, this is insane. She ended up like fucking like broke her neck. She's all fucked up. She had to go through all of the shit to prove like he would get away with like the domestic violence calls. Like he would just like, he was like a slippery fucking trout. But yeah, that scene stuck out. I was like, dude, this is really intense for like a Lifetime movie about, this woman trying to get away from this fucking psychopath.
Yeah, and they show her getting gorilla stomped.
Straight up. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the film, but I remember. Do you ever remember back in like the 90s? They used to have, it was like primetime TV. They would do like NBC or ABC. They'd have like a movie of the month, and it was like a direct to ABC, where it was like a direct to NBC movie. It was almost like and they all were like murder, like like stalker kind of movies. Anyway, one time, I don't know why, if you ask me now, but like I was like, it was a sleepover and everyone was asleep, like all my cousins, and it was just me and my grandpa, and it was like 9:00, and this movie with Yasmin Bleeth from Baywatch, she was in it, so I was like, I'm in. And then me and him just stayed up till like 11:30 and watched this, like pretty inappropriate for like a 10-year-old boy to watch, but it was like this chick getting stalked, like, and this dude was like murdering people like up the ladder to get to her. And like me and my grandpa both watched the whole thing, and we were just like fixated, like completely sucked in, drawn in. It's just an odd memory of like a really good flick that I probably couldn't even find if I tried to now. But the thing that drew me in was Yasmin Bleeth. I was like, oh yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah. That's a weird aside, but do you have any? I do have a Denzel devotional we can hit real quick, and then do you have any colloquialisms you want to bring up?
I don't think so. Let me just double check. No.
All right, so yeah, this is really apropos of nothing, but it's a new Denzel devotional. We haven't plumbed those depths in quite a while, so let's get after it here.
And now it's time for our weekly Denzel devotional.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Okay, so Denzel, spit it.
Movement with progress, because you can run in place and not get anything done. So are you moving forward, and who you're taking with you, and how you make things better by the God-given talent that you all have in whatever area it may be, to write it, to direct it, to produce it, to cut it, to shoot it. You have a gift. It's called a gift. You didn't earn it. You were born with a gift. Now you hone that gift. You develop that gift. You do everything you need to do to protect it, and then you share it.
What the fuck is he talking about?
He's just talking about life, man. He's just dropping science. And that's why when our alien overlords come in and the apocalypse is set in, future anthropologists are going to uncover this digital messiah of Denzel and be like, this was God, right?
So talent versus work. I feel like I've heard him make conflicting arguments where, you know, some of it is just like intrinsic in you and some of it is just like you got to work for it and you got to get it, and just a little confused. I mean, I don't
know. I like that message. I like how expressive he is, like with the facial features. He's like, get it, protect it. And he's like, you know, he gets very involved in whatever he's spitting. Oh, yeah, I watched this one too, and I was like, dude, I forgot about this scene.
There's a Bible verse I think about sometimes, many times. It goes, then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And I said, here am I. Send me.
Isaiah chapter 6.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, that's from Fury, which
yeah,
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time I've liked Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
As we've talked about before.
Yes, he is very fucking good. Yeah,
he is so good in that movie.
Yeah, say what you want. And I think in the past couple of years he's come under fire with some like forcing himself on to women, and a couple women came out against him. I don't know where that's at right now, but yeah, he kind of fell into the background after that. But yeah, I haven't liked it. I mean, what is there? All the Transformer movies and shit like that, and people grew up with them on Disney. I missed that boat, but
yeah,
I hadn't really seen him in anything other than like super popcorn Hollywood fucking blockbuster type shit. So when I saw him in that, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Shia LaBeouf in this fucking rugged like Saving Private Ryan in a tank kind of movie. But yeah, he won me over almost immediately. Like I was like, damn. You know how he's missing that tooth in his bottom layer of teeth in that movie? He's missing a tooth like right here. He fucking pulled that out because he thought if this what he wasn't told to do this, or they weren't gonna like give him a black tooth and take it out in post. Like, he was like, I just thought that this would be a feature of him. And he pulled a fucking tooth out, just a regular ass tooth. Dude, that's fucking commitment, man. But
yeah, I did not know that.
Okay. Any hoodles. There's one more thing that I thought I might try out is, since we kind of have a stable of different podcasts that all kind of support one another and kind of shout us out on socials and stuff, I thought we'd just do like a quick pod roundup and just let you know like what we're listening to, what I'm listening to, and friends of the show have going this week. So by the time this is released, these will have all been out for at least a couple days. But the Straight Chilling podcast just put out their review on the Infinity Pool from 2023 that just released. That looks really good. A Cut Above horror review. They just did The Menu from 2022. Have you seen any previews for The Menu or know anything about that?
No.
Ray Fiennes?
Nope.
It was really good. I liked it a lot. Ghoulish Uni, they just wrapped up their Tales from the Crypt Season 2 wrap-up show. So they'll be moving on to starting to review Season 3, which I'm excited about. There's a couple really good episodes in Season 3 that I'm curious to hear what they think, as a couple of them being first-timers. This one's extra fun, too. Friends of the show, the Bean Dub podcast, they just covered Hackers from 95. You're a Hackers guy, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hackers. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea that they were coming out with that one, and they dropped it, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I was like, Hackers is my shit.
I haven't seen it in forever, but...
Dude, I didn't realize until later on, like when I started watching I watched the first couple of seasons of The Wire, and Bunk is in Hackers. He plays like that lead, like detective against the hacking crew. He's got an awesome line where he's like, I suggest you modify your attitude because you are floating and I'm about to flush your ass. Yeah. Hackers is, oh man, that was like the formative years for me. Like, that was such a fucking cool movie when it came out. And now you watch it and it's like they're like getting all jazzed about like 36.6K dial-up modems and shit. It's so like antiquated. Cinema Villains also just put out an episode where they're covering kind of direction of where their show's going to go, and they rattled off a list of their favorite top villains of 2022. And then lastly, Punks in the Cinema, friend of the show, Tyler Nightmare, they just kind of had a little mini hiatus, but they just came back strong with their review of Clerks 3 that just released a month or two ago. So yeah, that's a roundup of what I have in my queue and friends of the show. So check all those people out. You can find them anywhere you find your podcast. So I don't know if we did a hard agree, but I'm down because I don't have any other ideas. What was the case that you mentioned? This is like South Carolina?
Yeah, it's the Alec murder trial that's going on right now.
Alec?
Well,
is it a dude?
So there have been multiple pronunciations of his first and last name. It's either Alec or Alex and Murdaugh or Murdoch. Through the entire trial, it's been going back and forth.
That's lame. Okay.
But it's a very interesting story. So okay. I think we might have to make next episode all about that.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I know we've gotten some positive input. I guess people were super stoked on that first tangent you went off on last episode about Anna Walsh, the gal in Connecticut who was offed ostensibly by her husband, the dude who was hawking fake Annie Warhols.
Yeah.
That was super interesting too. Like I didn't know you were coming to the table with that, so I was kind of like an active listener. Like, yeah, this shit's dope. But
I read an article today that her mom thinks she's still alive. So,
oh shit, damn, that's crazy. Like everything that you were able to talk about on it, and it's such like a fresh, like it's like happening in real time, like all these new developments and stuff. So. I wonder if that's one, if maybe we should just try and keep tabs on and come back to it once and like have a nice juicy episode on that. Cause yeah, that shit's super intriguing. I'm curious to see what comes out of that. and the whole Tishman Spire connection, all that stuff. Like,
I'm just worried nothing's going to come of it.
Which would get for memory hold.
Yeah, which would just feed the conspiracy trills even harder. But yeah, the Murdaugh trial that's going on right now, it's pretty interesting, and we're recording this.
So is the trial, is the crime has, whatever the crime is, I don't know anything about it, has already happened, and now they're in trial phase. That's going to determine who they think did it.
So we are in the middle of a 3-week trial. There's a lot. So I think we should do that next week. That'd be a good one because there's a shit ton to unpack.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll start doing my due diligence on that case. One last thing before we leave off. This is something I watched, I think last year, maybe a year and a half ago. Are you familiar with the case? They did a documentary on HBO. It's called Murder on Middle Beach. Have you heard about that at all?
No.
You should check it out. If you have HBO Max, especially, go back and check out, I think it's a 4-part, maybe 6-part. It's either 4 or 6, and they're like hour and a half long episodes. Really intriguing case, and it's the documentary of the case. It's still active and open. There's been no conclusion to it, but the murder, there's a woman who was murdered, and her son actually is like a college student and videographer. That's like what he's going to school with. This happened, and he's dredging up. It happened when he was a lot younger. And there's been nothing. He's been like, as he's gotten older, he's followed the case and been super invested in it and trying to crack it now. And he put together a really fucking slick documentary, like for someone that young. And it's really intriguing. I highly recommend it. It is kind of frustrating because there's no resolution to it. It's one of those kind of things, but you can tell this kid's got like a full head of steam, and like I was like blown away with like the quality of the documentary and like how like deep and specific. It kind of felt like a murder on a Sunday morning kind of vibe to it, just in a different way. But
what's it called? One more time.
Murder on Middle Beach. I think it came out during the pandemic, or so either 2020 or 2021.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's been actively for the last couple of years, ever since that came out, like a part 2. So I haven't followed it or like the case as well in the background, but yeah, that's one that I can count on one hand, like true crime or like unsolved kind of things that really, really stood out. And that's for sure one of them. Okay. Well, yeah, without further ado, then I think that'll wrap it up for us this week. If you have any questions, we still haven't gotten any hate mail. So
we're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, exactly. There's multiple avenues you can send that to us. One is email wax@waxingtheporpoise.com, or you can reach out to either of our socials. Instagram is @waxingtheporpoise and Twitter is @waxingtheporp. Any final thoughts?
Nope. Send hate mail. Tune in next week for what I think will be an interesting episode.
Or Alex Murdaugh.
Yeah, exactly.
South Carolina. It's going on. It's current. Check it out.
The Low Country is what they call it.
Is that what they call South Carolina, or does that encompass like northern Georgia?
No, just that portion of South Carolina is where they call it the Low Country.
Ah, that makes me think of like the Lowman from Dark Tower.
Yeah. Well, we may have to tie that in next week.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, check it out. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you when we see you, and we'll see you later.
Symbology.